Switzerland government is secretly working on a new agreement with the EU. Does this mean Switzerland is edging closer to joining? And are politicians ignoring the will of the people? Hi, this is Josephine, and welcome to the People's Perspective, where we dive into the complex world of social and political issues. Thank you for tuning in. Before we jump into today's topic, I have a few quick announcements. First of all, I am introducing a new format to the episodes. From now on, we will start each week with the week's topic, obviously. After that, I will answer some of your comments from the last episode because I truly appreciate every single one of you. And finally, we will wrap up with happy news of the week so we can head into our new week with a positive mindset. I hope you will enjoy these changes and maybe even take a part in happy news. So if you spot something uplifting, please send it my way. Second, and the last thing, an update on the EID referendum, and it's happening. Yeah. I would love to know if you would be interested in an episode about it because honestly, it sounds like an episode from the Real Housewives of Switzerland. The police were called twice, the coalition behind it fell apart mostly, and some members even settled their disagreements the old fashioned way with the fist. So, this week we will talk about the agreements between Switzerland and EU. Switzerland isn't a member of the European Union, but it maintains a very close and complicated relationship with it. After Swiss voters rejected joining the European Economic Area in 1992, Switzerland and the EU built a network of over 120 bilateral agreements covering trade, travel, security, and more. Thanks to these agreements, Switzerland enjoys access to much of the EU single market. However, it comes with a price. Switzerland must regularly update its laws to align with EU standards, without having any direct say in creating them. Tensions have surfaced over the years, especially regarding immigration policies and institutional reforms. In 2021, Switzerland officially walked away from negotiations on a new framework agreement, citing concerns over national sovereignty. But even though those talks collapsed, it turns out that behind the scenes, representatives on both sides kept working. A new bilateral agreement is reportedly ready and could be signed soon. Politicians hint at it, but Switzerland's key figures like President of the Bundesrat Karin Keller-Sutter and Foreign Minister Ignacio Cassis are staying quite silent and behind the doors. But a handful of MPs were allowed to read the 1,500-page draft under strict conditions. They had to sign NDAs, view the contract in the ministry offices, and make only handwritten notes. No photos, no copies, my dears. The rest is left to wonder. Does the agreement include new rules about freedom of movement? Will it mean increased immigration? What role will the European Court of Justice play, and will its rulings become binding for Switzerland? Another point that caught my attention, Switzerland apparently pays the EU annual contribution of million of francs, something I honestly wasn't aware of, and something that definitely deserves its own episode. Protecting Swiss wages is also reportedly a key issue on the table. So, many politicians are raising red flags. After public pressure, only two representatives per party were given access to the draft, and again, only under tight conditions. So, let's hear what the law professor Paul Richli from the University of Lucerne have to say about it. And I quote, "This means that in individual cases, Switzerland can still decide to call a mandatory referendum. There is no doubt that agreements with the EU have an exceptionally wide reaching impact. In fact, they amount to a substantive change to the constitution. They limit the powers of both federal and cantonal parliaments and governments, and they also restrict the free voting rights of citizens, rights that are guaranteed by our constitution at every level." Others argue that the way this agreement is being handled and shown only to a select few is creating a system where some people are less important and others are more important. So ironically, because Switzerland's supposed to be a land of equality, no? What next? Well, there is the talk that the full text might be made public after parliamentary discussion, potentially as early as July this year. But there seems to be no pressure, as some officials put it. Personally, I believe a deal this significant should be voted on by the Swiss people. Yet, judging from how the EU situation played out, it feels like the current parliament trusts its own judgment more than the voice of the citizens. I can only hope that Switzerland's strong democratic spirit will prevail once again, and that the country stayed independent, steering clear of the EU's political chaos. A huge thank you to everyone who commented on the last episode and everyone before that. Your feedback, your thoughts, even your criticism keep me going and make this so much fun. Yeah, even the mean comments. And yes, Urtip 6596, I'm talking about you, my friends. Thank you for taking time to share your thoughts. Last week got quite philosophical, and your comments had me thinking a lot. Firstly, let's look what math magician 8191 wrote. He approached my question with logical thinking, breaking everything down into zeros and ones, as man tends to do. But math magician, can we really stay purely logical when dealing with other humans? We are so wonderfully complex. A simple binary system just doesn't capture all the nuances, does it? Then JJK909, he quoted Wilbur, staying with mathematical spirit, nobody is smart enough to produce 100% error. And finally, let's wrap it with the comment from David Gray 2075, quoting Bob Dylan. "We always did feel the same, we just saw it from a different point of view." Couldn't agree more. In Arizona, a ranch dog named Bufffort is being hailed as a hero after leading a missing 2-year-old boy to safety. Bufffort, an Anatolian Pyrenees, found the child after he had spent a night alone in the remote wilderness. According to the dog's owner, Scott Danton, Bufffort routinely patrols the property at night, guarding against predators like coyotes. On April 15th, Bufffort discovered the boy, who had wandered approximately 7 miles from his home through rugged terrain populated by mountain lions. The dog stayed with the toddler and guided him back to the Dantons ranch. Authorities say the boy had survived the night by sheltering under a tree. Thanks to Buffer's instinct and training, the child was returned safely, bringing a 16-hour search to a successful end. If you find value in this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Please like if you like it or unlike if you don't. And if you have any thoughts, don't forget to share in the comments below. I am uploading stories like this every Sunday evening to his time, so I really do hope we meet again. But for now, thank you for watching till the end. And as always, stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, knowledge